Thank you, Professor Ikeda, for your kind introduction. Distinguished colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's Taro Yamauchi again. As you know, this is the 6th FHS International Conference and the 10th anniversary since the first FHS back in 2013. So first, I will briefly review the history of FHS, and then I will talk about the main topic, which is the co-creation of a sanitation system with local stakeholders. These are the photos from the last 5 FHS international conferences, and this is the current one. Let's briefly review the history of FHS. In 2012, the Faculty of Health Sciences Hokkaido University signed the MOUs with Diponegoro University in Indonesia and Taipei Medical University in Taiwan. The following year, in 2013, the late Dean, Professor Date, and the International Affairs Office established and organized the memorable first FHS International Conference. Since then, the conference has been held every 2 years. During this time, we signed MOUs with Chulalongkorn University in Thailand, Kaohsiung Medical University in Taiwan, and the University of Hong Kong. And in 2021, due to the pandemic, we went fully online. Finally, in 2023, this year, we signed an MOU with the University of Melbourne in Australia. In addition to the partner universities, the last 5 FHS conferences have invited speakers from mainland China, South Korea, and Vietnam, as shown in this map. This is a word cloud of presentation titles from the last 5 FHS conferences. We found frequent keywords, which are health, cells, elderly, adults, Japan, patients, and children. How are these keywords going to change in the future? I look forward to the next decade. Okay, let's get to the main topic. I'm glad to have this opportunity to talk about the transdisciplinary research of a project. I'd like to briefly introduce myself. I'm particularly interested in health and nutrition of local populations in small societies. For example, the nutritional status, physical activity, health and quality of life of vulnerable populations such as children, the elderly, people with disabilities, the homeless, and so on. And I have been devoted in water, sanitation, and hygiene, WASH, for these 10 years. I have done fieldwork in many countries, Pacific countries, Asian countries, and African countries as shown here. The picture above left was taken in the Papua New Guinea Highlands when I was a master's student in 1993. So this year, 2023, marks my 30th anniversary of fieldwork. Congratulations to me. Okay, thank you very much. Yellow highlighted countries are field sites of today's talk on sanitation research. Before I start talking, I would like to show you how important sanitation is in modern medical progress. According to British Medical Journal, 2007, sanitation rated the greatest medical advance in 150 years. Sanitation has improved public health for centuries, but I believe sanitation is still important now and in the future. Okay, today I will talk about 3 topics. First, the current trend in global sanitation. Second, research questions and goals of our project. Then I will briefly introduce the 3 research sites from the project: Indonesia, Zambia in Africa, and Japan, Hokkaido. In the world, 2.3 billion people, around 1/3 of the world population, are still using unimproved sanitation facilities in 2015, when the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, ended. Furthermore, 700 million people practiced open defecation in 2017. In many parts of the world, sanitation has become a serious challenge. For example, in Japan, depopulation and aging are progressing, especially in rural areas. Local governments do not have enough capacity to maintain and replace infrastructure such as storage systems. In 2015, the United Nations established the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Among them, SDG 6, clean and good sanitation and hygiene, have crucial and positive effects for many other goals. Based on what I mentioned, the key question is how we can handle the waste from 10 billion people, which is the world population estimate in 2050 in the future. Of course, we have to keep in mind that sanitation systems will not work without taking into account the local situation, such as socio-cultural, political, and economic aspects. So we need to think carefully about the second key question. How can we build a sanitation system that is tailored to each local community, and how can we implement it? Here are our main study sites in the world. These pictures are sanitation facilities in each field. I'm sorry that I do not have time to explain each picture today. We proposed a resource-oriented sanitation value chain model in which human waste is collected in composting toilets or bio-toilets and turned into manure for agricultural use, and then conducted a pilot demonstration in each field sites. We installed composting toilets in an elementary school in an urban slum of Indonesia to create a value chain model. On the other hand, we realized that the resource-oriented value chain model, in which technology takes the lead in introducing a new sanitation infrastructure to the local community, is not always useful nor feasible. So we reconsidered the value of sanitation from the scratch and developed a sanitation triangle model that considered the three components of health and well-being, materials and social culture, and more importantly, their linkage shown A, B, and C. In an urban slum in Zambia, from sub-Saharan Africa, we established a children's club and conducted participatory action research. In a deep populated rural village in Japan, Hokkaido, we connected a water use association with local high school students. Now let's move on to a short introduction of our activities in each field sites. First is Indonesia. We conducted research in an urban slum in a densely populated area of Bandung, West Java. Our intensive fieldwork revealed many complex value flows existed at micro level, as you can see the panel. We are examining each flow as whether it works or not. The point is that we utilize existing systems such as garbage collection and local vendors. The flowchart shows a resource-oriented material value chain. The compost moves from the toilet at the primary school to the garbage station and lastly to the farmland. First, I'd like to explain the lower part. We conducted a participatory survey at the garbage collection station in an urban slum. Then I'll explain the upper part. We successfully engaged collaborative actors or stakeholders with visual aids, such as short movie in Indonesian language and a toilet paper you can see on the right panel, developed through project. These pictures show communication with farmers. In addition, we engaged students and teachers at a local school with visual aid. At last, we held a workshop at primary school. All stakeholders took part in this event. Our partner, Indonesian National Research and Innovation Agency, BRIN, manufactured composting toilets for primary school children. As you can see, blue one is for boys and the pink for girls. We placed these toilets at the school. A summary of our concept of sanitation value chain in Indonesia. Since it will take a time, so please allow me to go to Africa. Zambia. We selected two sites in peri-urban slum of Lusaka, the capital of Zambia, we established a community-based organization comprising local children and youth named Zikolanga, which means my community in local language. We involved local children and youth. They had lessons and trainings for data collection. We did a group work focusing on hand washing practices, waste disposal, drinking water, toilet use, understanding contamination routes. Through this active learning process, the participants were able to recognize challenges in their community. Now I'll show you some works they did. The question was, what are the sanitation challenges in your community? These are the photos taken by children, and they wrote messages for each photo. So photo and voice, so photo voice. Younger children drew pictures like this. We held a sanitation exhibit at each field site. Planning and preparation were done by children, youth, and researchers. The exhibition had more than 200 attendees, more than expected. Okay, now I'll show you a short movie, 1 minute, about the exhibition.
Zikolanga had their first ever community sanitation exhibit on Friday and Saturday, 9th and 10th of March 2018 in Kanyama and Chalma constituencies, respectively. The exhibits were there for Zikolanga children and youth to showcase the sanitation and health status of their communities through art for the children and photographs for the youth.
Joseph, what did you see?
I'm working to again. So for me, it's splendid. It's very nice.
Oh, it's a Germany.
I see
We love Zikolanga!
Thank you for watching. Okay. Thank you very much. I picked out highlights from the movie. A child explains her picture to a member of a parliament. We invited parliament member, so she came. Very surprised. Okay, anyway. Group discussion with local residents, led not by the researchers, but by the senior member of the children's club. Outside the venue, children performed a drama about cholera, which frequently occurred during the rainy season. Unbelievable. Furthermore, senior members of the club collaborated with local video creators to make videos. Through video creation, they reflected on their past activities such as photo voice, exhibitions, and so on. Okay, I'm trying to show you again the video they created. This is what we call digital storytelling.
Our work, our story. It is not everything that we need to wait for someone to do for us. In this photo, we see how we can be able to transform community dump sites into community gardens. Lack of dumping sites. The house is right there where the bins are being dumped. They throw their garbage right there in their surroundings. They burn their garbage right there after they throw their waste. Access to clean and safe water is a human right. As we see the flags in this photo, it is important to understand that poor planning results in lack of good drainage systems. We see how much of contaminated water people get to drink. It is sad to see a drainage system turned into a dumping site, which leads to blocked drainages and stagnant waters. Poor toilet infrastructure. The land is shallow and the waters are stagnant. The toilets, stagnant waters, and houses are in the same place which can be a healthy hazard.
Okay, thank you for watching. Okay, at the same time, we invited a local expert to learn media literacy on internet. After lectures, members enjoyed discussion and filled in a worksheet to plan future SNS posting. This is an example of a worksheet. Here, they chose Facebook as their target SNS. And actually, they created a Facebook page. So if you have an account, go visit and like it, please. Okay, now I'd like to tell you our ongoing action research by local adults. This is called F-diagram, which illustrates exposure pathways from feces to human, even if we introduce sanitation. In other words, installing a toilet. The impact on health is indirect, and it takes a long time. So we try to come up with an innovative solution, proactive sanitation planning by local people. We are developing a simple survey kit shown in the photos to detect contamination on various items, including their hands. Also, we are developing a smartphone app to visualize risk in daily activities. Through these approaches, local people are able to reduce their risk of fecal contamination by changing their activities. This chapter is a summary. I won't go into detail. Okay, finally, I will introduce a case study in Japan, Hokkaido. We aimed to create an infrastructure management system in Hokkaido, Japan. We worked with high school students and the Water Management Association. We did 2 activities such as mapping of the underground pipelines and water quality analysis. Students made maps of pipeline networks, which have been kept by the elderly, such as the chief of the association. The maps they made are valuable and useful for water maintenance, which also can be used by experts and the local government. It was good to see high school students and adults go beyond generations and work together. We are now doing water quality analysis and pipeline mapping in other areas. This chart summarizes the activities. We are building a community-based, autonomous, decentralized system with the local high schools as the hub. Okay, this table summarizes our activities at each of the 4 field sites. I didn't talk about Cameroon in the middle today, sorry. Here, I further summarize our activities in terms of co-creation. Let's take a look from the bottom. Developing countries, urban slum Zambia, participatory action research involving local children and youth. Emerging country Indonesia, we aim to build a sanitation value chain model. Developed country Japan, co-creation of a decentralized model. If you are interested in the results of the project, please have a look at the English book, Sanitation Triangle, which is open access. If you can read Japanese, please have a look at the 5-volume Japanese book called The Sanitation Guide, issued by Hokkaido University Press. Personally, I think this is more important than academic books. We have produced picture books in Indonesian, French, and English to share the result with local people and stakeholders. These books are not meant to be used from a researcher's perspective, but rather for local people with lots of photos and clear, concise explanations. The book have been very well received. Lastly, I'll show you our recent online event called Sani Camp, involving local students from Indonesia, Zambia, and Japan. They shared and discussed their findings about water, sanitation, and hygiene issues in their communities. Although we had connectivity and language issues during the event, it was amazing to see students from different parts of the world passionately engage in discussion on the global issue of sanitation. We hope to continue this event in the future. Let me finish with a brief summary. First, sanitation is a global issue to be addressed. Most importantly, people have to think of sanitation as their own issue and act more proactively on it. At the same time, we researchers have to remember 2 things. First, sanitation is deeply rooted in local communities, and hence it needs to be co-created with local people. Second, in order to sustain the local built sanitation system, children and youth, that is, the next generation, play a significant part. Thank you for your attention.